Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Al Stock Trades. We're doing something a little different here today. The music is going to be played after this introduction. As always, this is an educational platform. I'm very excited to show you the new face of Al Stock Trades. Lo and behold, the new platform for our lifetime access members. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works. But first, enjoy this demo. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Al Stock Trades. How's everybody doing today? All right, ladies and gentlemen. As always, everything in this video is for educational purposes only. So we went ahead and created an extension of our institutional ownership graphs for Al Stock Trades. This is going to have some leading and lagging indicators. We're going to use some high-grade statistical analysis. I'm taking the approach of Jim Simmons. Get my hands on a lot of data, run a lot of statistical analysis, and see what we find, right? And I found some really interesting things, something that, you kind of may have thought of, but haven't had concrete evidence to use. And unfortunately, a lot of this data is hid away behind hedge funds. And I think now we have the capability of really being able to do a lot. The problem is, let me go ahead and unshare the screen for a sec, because I want to share with you a screenshot of my new Mac. I've had this Mac actually for about 6 months. It's just been sitting on the shelf. I haven't used it because I've been so busy with the medical side of things, and also just with programming. But it's gotten to a point. What is this here? There is about 100. Okay. It's gotten to a point where we my M2 Max, which is like a $7,000 computer, $7,000 or $8,000, it actually broke down from all the programming and coding we've been doing. All of this, it actually broke down. It literally broke down. I couldn't believe it. It's obviously insured, but I knew something like this was going to happen. But so I have an M4 Max, which is another $7,000-$8,000 computer, but this one's even stronger. I'm going to hide the serial number right now so I can show you. It really is a badass computer. Let me kind of show you here. I have a lot of nefarious people from abroad. They always, like, it's just crazy, man. There's so many crazy people online right now that are not because they're like investors or wanting to learn. They see someone who has money and they want to take advantage. Okay, so let me show you. So I took like 2 screenshots right now. Let me exit this out of here, and then I can show you. Make sure I hit it because I'm sometimes stupid with this stuff. So yeah, so I've had this for about 6 months, but I decided to go ahead and use it. The other computer is going to be sent to Apple, and then I'm just going to end up probably giving it, selling it or whatever. But this is a M4 Max. It has 128 gigabytes of RAM, of freaking RAM. It has 8 terabytes of hard drive. So, I would like to do a thank you to the past computer that has led me this far. You've been a real OG. And then I'm such a nerd, guys. I would like to welcome this computer, and I'm going to burn the shit out of this computer. This $8,000 computer is about to feel my freaking wrath. I'm going to code its little guts out until it can't freaking breathe anymore. But hey, that's what I like to do, right? I'm going to literally, this computer, I don't care how smart you are, computer, I'm going to code your eyeballs out, right? You're not going to be able to think after I'm done with you. I'm about to bring this computer to the ringer. It's honestly, it should just give up right now, right? If it knows how smart it is, right? But anywho, this computer is no joke. 8 terabytes, 128 gigabytes of RAM. This is like the top of the line. There's nothing else higher you can get for this spec. This is the highest spec you can get. And I need this grade because I'm not able to do my job, right? So, and also this is the real estate company we have. All right. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to show you what I'm talking about here in regards to Clover Health institutional ownership. Before we do that, let's go ahead. So I read this Reddit post here. Again, we can't comment and give personal financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. And frankly, people on Reddit are not financial advisors. So I don't really know why this person's going online and asking for people to convince him. At the end of the day, the short answer from the title, buy or sell, convince me. I'm sorry, my friend. No one's going to convince you. You are the captain of your own ship. You are the person responsible for your own destiny. And at the end of the day, you have to convince yourself looking at yourself in the mirror, regardless of what outcome that happens. And you have to really teach yourself, right? But again, let's go ahead and read kind of what he has to say, because anything, even if it's not the best question, it's still good data, right? So let's go ahead and just read. I'm going to have the text to speech read it to me, and then I'm going to respond. You guys can read along here.
I was a recent coffee game called Squeeze and took some decent profits. I get adding its price over the past few years, but now at crossroads. I followed the decades and truly believe the company has solid potential and achieved greatness, but after only seeing downward trajectory regarding share price, I have given up. I've only written the investment off as nothing. The price sale hold till zero or profit.
So again, hold till zero profit, very kind of a static thing. Now he's saying he followed the 10Ks, but then all of a sudden the stock price is what got him, the stock price, right? So what I like to do right now is open up Google Doc. I wrote a couple things down today that I wanted to make sure I cover in today's video. I haven't made a video in a while. So much has happened. I kind of got these little 2 ideas I wanted to talk about, but he's talking about the 10Ks, right? Well, what about the SEC 13Fs? What about, counterpart, SAS? What about IVC, intrinsic value calculation? There's so many things. It literally goes to infinity of the amount of things that I look at, right? And you have to add all of these together, and then that'll equal some form of, your whatever your comprehensive analysis is, right? It'll equal, your mind, right? Your decision, your what you want out of life, right? So this person's just looking at one thing, and maybe he's looked at more and he just didn't say it. Again, I can't. I'm working off of what he said. But let's just kind of read the next sentence here. He's like contemplating whether they actually are able to do what they're doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and just next line here.
Thus, L decided this week's exit position and forward small loss are picked up another 50 shares. I love recent earnings release, but I also thought the same about the last 12 months. At least now we're seeing positive revenue growth. Customer growth has been positive for years, and I'm torn 50-50 if you get it up or more. Let me know your thoughts.
So I decided this week to either exit my position and move forward at a small loss, or pick up another 50,000 shares. I like the recent earnings release, but I have also thought the same about the last 12 plus. At least now we're seeing positive revenue growth. Yeah. So again, a lot of people are saying just kind of, not my job, bro. Do as you please. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that I agree with this. But I'm just curious. He gave us his position, so I'm just curious right now. Let's just kind of stick this here and let's do some math here. So he has about $171,000 in CLOV initially, but right now CLOV is trading at 262, and then he had about 55K. That's $144,000. So his equivalent of a small loss. So $27,000. That's pretty much what he was saying. Take a small loss. Yeah, it's really crazy. Again, not financial advice. You could do whatever you want. I mean, you could, you could go ahead and give your shares to, Disneyland. I don't care, right? I just find it interesting because when you look at institutional ownership, it tells you a different story. It tells you institutions are buying, but the question is, where are they buying it from? And they're buying it from retail investors, because retail investors are selling. Before, retail ownership was around 60+%. Now it's like under 55%. So retail investors are selling their shares, which is Michelle, my significant other, actually, she said something quite interesting. She said, it's kind of morbid, her comment. And that was right after she watched a Squid Game, honestly. So I guess kind of makes sense. But she said, it's kind of like the second season or third season of Squid Game. The guy tried to come back, save the people, show them the ways, but they kept wanting to play the game. And they kept on doing, kind of falling off the bridge. And regardless of, just understanding, the whole Warren Buffett thing, people are still going to give their shares to institutions. And albeit, there's been some interesting findings in the data. Retail investors should have already sold by now, but they haven't. So yes, they're selling, but not more than what Wall Street's expecting. And I think this is the shenanigans that are happening right now with the stock. And I'm going to try to explain kind of what's going on. Now, again, Grumpy Cat, you have some gaps in knowledge. So the reason why Open has a high institutional ownership is because they just went under $1 for like maybe a couple of months. They just got their exit from the Russell, versus Clover has been down under $1 for a while. So as they've been exited from the Russell 3000, a lot of institutions started pulling money out. And now that it's over $1, I think it's going to get re-entered back into the Russell. But I don't know when the recycling balances. So until then, I assume institutional ownership is going to go down. We're going to show Open here, remind me, but just understand you can't just look at something like, again, we're an educational platform, right? Here's the problem with most people is they look at a piece of fact and they say, 1 + 1 = 2. Okay. And then they don't go any deeper. And it's a shame because politicians and the media take advantage of that because they know people don't think through second, third order derivatives. So they focus on the first order derivative, and then they basically use that to create their own parallel universes and create facts that don't actually exist in nature. So that's and again, we try to, it's tough to make short videos that are 12 minutes long and try to truly, really break something down. It really requires some thought process, some just kind of mental gymnastics and to take these questions and really dissect them out. And the people that stay watching our channel, obviously you guys know I'm giving you my bet. I'm giving you my all. I mean, we're programming a multi-million-dollar platform here. I mean, this is, I've had some investors wanting to get in on this, and I frankly told them no, because then I would have to quit medicine because they're going to want to, because there's a lot of risk capital out there. They would love to give you millions of dollars to just kind of grow crazy, grow people, and just turn it, just grow. And they're going to just want all this quarter crap that I just don't want to deal with. I'd rather do this and really enjoy myself with you guys and teach. So Rob, in terms of closed caps, let me drink some coffee. I got some nice coffee here. In terms of closed captions, guys, it does it automatically. I think it takes about a day or two, and then YouTube kind of handles that. Obviously, it's not like captions right now because we're live. YouTube can't do that. But if you go to our previous live that we made about 6 days ago, I'm gonna mute this. You can press the closed caption button here, and you can see that the closed captions are here, right? Shamat sucks, right? What the hell am I talking about? What am I talking about in this video? This is Shamat sucks. What the hell am I talking about? Okay, I don't know if you guys read the caption here. Oh man, yeah. I'm drinking coffee right now, but it's cold brew. It doesn't really have a lot of caffeine. No, it's not cold brew. It's like cold espresso, so it's really more for the taste. Tastes delicious. It's like foamy as hell. It's like it's like a foam bomb. Right? That's what she said, right? All right. So, all right, guys. So, all right. So let me go ahead and just kind of bring it back to here, and then so we talked about, okay, yeah. Let's talk about Warren Buffett real quick. So again, guys, Warren Buffett doesn't like to lose money. It's very clear, right? Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1. That's kind of his famous line, right? The whole healthcare sector is down right now, right? I mean, if you're thinking you can make money on healthcare this year, you're really dumb. I mean, United Healthcare is down 38%. Obviously, there's going to be some ones out there, that are 22%. But if you haven't realized, this thing's been trading sideways for about about 6 months. It's been going sideways, right? Healthcare hasn't really been performing that well this year, and the question is it going to be performing? When is it going to be performing well? And we're gonna probably have to make a couple of videos, but I'm gonna squeeze it in here because I didn't post this. I only posted this on our Research Edge. So I'm just gonna like bring it here for the purposes of this discussion. So I created this slide. It's analyzed by Al Stock Trades, and it's Humana's Investor Day. So we will talk about this, about kind of the timeline and when I think healthcare stocks will be bullish based off of the Investor Day for Humana. But the big thing is, Rob, I've been messing with him on Twitter. I've been calling him Daddy. I'm like, is this how? Am I getting it right, Daddy? I know he's watching. I know he's watching. It's funny. He can't comment. I know he wants to though. Guys. All right. So the point is, right now, Wall Street's not giving attention to healthcare, and we're gonna talk about when they will. Right? At least my hypothesis. There's a song. It's called, "Wait Till I Get My Money Right." I just posted this. Right? Vladimir obviously doesn't know. He looks like a more of a rock and roll type of guy. I don't think he likes. I don't know if he knows about hip hop, but he strikes me as the guy who smokes Jeffries. Listens to rock and roll. But Mr. Vladimir, let me tell you kind of what I mean. So there's a song that goes a little bit something like this. It goes like this. Let me clear my voice, right? La 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 la, wait till I get my money right. So let's listen to it, right? It's coming, okay? And I'm gonna be playing this song as I'm staring down the ocean, smoking my cigar, milking those options, and having a great time. Okay. A couple things. Lance posted something today that was not on my radar because I've been busy programming this, but he said that this year, both CLOV and Humana will not attend the Wells Fargo Health Conference this week, though they usually attend each year, which is true, they do. Kind of weird, isn't it, huh? Kind of interesting. I don't have any more much to add besides it's weird. I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts. I'm just reporting the news. Also, buddy here with our beautiful Vicky. She came from Optum. She says we're hiring a senior provider success partner in southern Alabama. So I'm trying to figure out what's in Alabama. Right? What is in Alabama? Right? What is in Alabama? I don't know. We got some people here talking. Could be these things. I don't know. Just raising it up here. Also, Market Cap posted this. More Alabama stuff. We got Alabama, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. So what are in these things, and why is Counterpart being registered in these areas? I mean, they did say the pipeline is strong. I'm seeing the comment section, but I can't read it. I don't want any problems with YouTube. It's like that meme that Elon always posts with the, with the lady. I'm trying to do a good job and I'm trying to pray and work hard and be able to help retail investors. And this is me working hard trying to present my data. And here's the comment section. And I just want to read the comment section, but I have to remain focused. So I can't read the comments section. All right. So again, I can't I'm not going to speculate. All I can talk about is reality. Counterpart Health is registered in is that what you call it? It's registered in Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Alabama. That's as far as I can go. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Could it be another pipeline? I mean, I don't. It's not like it's not like they're setting up a barbershop there, right? I mean, they're doing something counterpart related, right? So yeah. All right. So again, so there's that, right? Okay. Now this guy, he talks about all other healthcare stocks except CLOV. I promise you, this guy's face, once he sees CLOV, his eyeballs are going to get huge. Again, I've been in the game for a while, probably longer than him, and I'm most likely he looks young. Could be an old picture like mine. Mine's an old picture, but he's talking about they are bidding up for 2026. Warren Buffett bought. They are exiting unprofitable markets, and I said they're exiting unprofitable markets, and CLOV is entering them. And then this guy here, and he gave an honest question. He said, "Do you really want unprofitable markets? I mean, should we be bragging that Clover's entering the unprofitable markets?" And he honestly gives a good point. He honestly he doesn't have a point. The reason is because of what we talked before, and I assume people know this, but I have to repeat it over and over again, which is fine. So members that start with CLOV, if I can find the screenshot, it's a bit tough to find. I feel like I spoke about it recently. Oh, here it is. Yeah, there it is. Man, I post a lot. New members are unprofitable. Their medical cost ratio is high. But once they return, the Clover Assistant, their AI reduces the costs. So that and they've been proven to do that, right? The question is can they do it outside of New Jersey? Well, if you look at Peter, he said that I believe Georgia or one of them's outside of New Jersey is going to be the next New Jersey, right? Also, we're going to be talking about this in regards to just kind of academia, universities, and just kind of the overall general thing. I was talking to Michelle about just when we have kids in the future, how are we going to train them? And the way genetics works, it's really weird. Your kids sometimes will not become like you. It's hard, right? You could have a kid that can become a total loser, right? But the thing is, you got to set them up for success, and you got to tell them that you are really the person that is responsible for your life. You have to decide what you want. The problem is I would hate to do everything correctly and send my kid off to school to only have him get injected with bullshit, right? As someone who graduated with 3 undergraduate degrees, I can assure you there's a lot of bullshit that tried to get injected into my, brain. And sometimes you just kind of have to put your head down and just say yes, just to pass the class. And you really kind of have to. But the problem is, some people absorb this Marxist ideology and they think that they know it all, and they think they know how the world works, right? The issue is you go out of the college and you enter the real world and you realize it's a jungle. Everyone's trying to F someone over to get the promotion. I mean, you guys are working people, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's not like I'm speaking to a bunch of college kids here, right? You guys are very smart. It's freaking Sunday night. Tomorrow's a holiday, and you guys are listening. I mean, you guys are not stupid, right? You guys are very smart. I don't have to explain more. You guys know how disgusting the world is. Corporate America's shit. It is what it is, right? And sadly, if now academics is the same way. Maybe it's always been like that, and maybe now I just realize it. The point is I made this comment. I said I don't chase titles. I own the corner office in the sky, right? This is the setup here. The Al Stock Trades. This is what you guys are going to see me do more lives on the ocean now, coming soon. I just can't wait. I'm just doing a couple things right now, doing the hard stuff here, coding. But we're going to be, to our lifetime access members, we're going to have these nice live streams, looking at the market and just kind of enjoying ourselves, just kind of learning together. But the point is I don't have to play the game. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like in an academic setting, and if I have someone that like is just pushing for just pushing, I don't, I kind of stay away from that now, because it's a very nasty game, and you're always going to have to kiss someone's ass. I don't kiss anyone's ass anymore. The only person I answer to is the guy upstairs, is the Lord above me. That's the only person at my desk and where I am right now. All I answer to is the man upstairs. That's it, right? My goal, if I can, is to show you how I did this, and perhaps maybe you can learn on maybe things that I've done. Obviously, what I've done will not apply to you. Life has just infinite ways to skin a cat. But I'm sharing kind of my knowledge because I realized that for me, there wasn't a blueprint. No one shared. I wasn't the only, like I had to read a book, not just one book. I don't even know how many books I've read. It's a lot to just get all this information and to create something. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can try to create a blueprint. And that's kind of what I, did with Al Stock Trades. A schematic, but you can't understand money by not understanding the terms. What's revenue? What's operating cash? I mean, these are, what's PPI? What's consumer price index? You got to understand the basics. And universities don't teach you that. They teach you it in the theoretical. I mean, I was going to open up a book and just kind of do book problems, but is that really going to be helpful? Do you really think me opening up a book from 2008 about accounting and showing you what liabilities and assets are is going to make it, you're going to have to apply that knowledge. So I said, let me reverse this and let me just do it backwards. Let's do it backwards. Let's have a reverse classroom split. And that's what we're doing right now. And we're kind of creating the classroom backwards. I'm creating the software. And once the software is created, the course is going to be created on top of the software. And we're just going to go backwards. Isn't that funny? But I think it's just it's just a very, you got to do unique things in order to accomplish some really cool stuff. So, Oh yeah. So this was Mexico, beautiful Mexico. I'm on the process of buying a beach house in California now. I um you know what? Let me give you a moment. Let me see if I can find you kind of some ideas. Wow. So, oh my God, look at my baby girl. Oh, sorry. Michelle just sent me a picture of our one of our dogs. Michelle's in California now, and she brought Buddy with her, but she left Coco here at a daycare in Phoenix. I have Scooby. She didn't have time to come down here, so she brought her to a daycare. And it's because she really loves daycare. She just loves other dogs. And she needs to socialize, so she has a bit of anxiety. I'm going to show you that picture, but before I do that, let me kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at. I'm looking honestly, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, something like this. But first, let me show you. Yeah, let me show you my dog here. Oh, she's so cute, dude. Oh my God, I love her. So this is her. She's with all these dogs. Look how happy she looks. Look at that smile, dude. She's so happy. Oh, I was so happy for her, dude. She deserves the best. What a good girl, dude. All right, anywho, so I'm on the process of looking at some beach houses. This is one of them I'm looking at. Or at least the area. I really can see myself doing a live right here. And just kind of, the only thing about California is I really like Miami water. It's just Miami's HOA is insane because of the hurricanes and all this other crap that's involved. But I was thinking something like this. So you guys will see me do my lives probably around something of this nature. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, just something just just a nice way to relax because I'm tired, guys. I think I'm ready. I'm ready to start spending some of this cash from the larger portfolio doing the covered calls. But yeah, this is what I was thinking. But the beautiful part is I'll be able to just kind of relax, enjoy, and just kind of talk to you guys, and be able to do my analysis and just do what I do, which is have fun and looking at stocks and finding opportunity, right? What better way to do it in this relaxing, stimulating area? But yeah, so anyway, this is what I was looking at. But yeah, so that's the idea, and the goal is to share people how I did that, how I went from nothing to this. I had no handouts. Okay. So there's that. There's my beautiful cow, my little moo, right? Here's a couple things that I want to talk about before we get into the institutional ownership. So for Clover Health, when you get right now, we're around 40% institutional ownership, around that. If you look at just Class A shares, we're like right away. We're like right around the halfway point here. And in terms of market cap, we're pretty much near the upper end of this. If you look at Clove, the market cap is 1.37 billion. So it used to be 2 billion. So we're pretty much there. And once we kind of break out of this, we're going to get to the mid cap region, right? Right. And then SoFi, I think now is in the large cap, right? So there's that. Again, this is something I think this is one of the first investors or something like he worked on Bitcoin. He actually knows Satoshi. He said something I like. He got ALS, God bless his heart. He said, if you want to change the world, don't protest, write code. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I got tired of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. I work with so many people in healthcare that they came from nothing and then they become doctors and they make doctor money and then they deserve it. They work their ass off but then, they let the lifestyle creep on them and then they forget where they come from. And then they're like, they want to live this life and they just, not a lot of them, but a lot of them are like, screw this, right? I paid my dues. And they don't want to, they just want to live their life. And I get it. But I think we have an obligation to try to change the world. If we've made it on the other side. Some people don't have that, but I decided to write code, right? Sam Altman recently, there's a couple things I want to talk about before I get into the data. These are like really important. There's like little facts that I hope you can like kind of piece together. Sam Altman said we're going to see a 10-person company with billion-dollar valuations pretty soon. And I made a comment. I said CLOV has a lot more than 10 people, right? Even if you don't remember their recent NASDAQ photo shot. CLOV created something new, something that does not exist in nature. And it's going to be very interesting to see the next 4 or 5 years. I'm just going to leave it there, right? Retail investors now own 53.29%. They used to own over 60%. It means they're selling. Most recently, IWM small caps. We were banging the drums on the Russell 2000 small caps in 2022, 2023 before Tom Lee. And now Tom Lee is banging the drums on them, especially with these rate cuts. What I find interesting is IWM just bought Clover Health. They bought about 9.9 million shares. Again, there's not a lot. There's people that have been invested over 10 years and they don't even know this fact. I have a buddy of mine. He's been investing since, I got to do the math. He's been invested before me. His first investment was in the S&P 500 back in 08 or 07. He's been investing for 17 years. So he has about 3 years on me. But it shows the length doesn't equal expertise. I told him about how IWM added Clover. He's like, well, how is that possible? How does that even happen? Again, he doesn't understand the mechanics of how that works, which is fine, right? But it just shows you kind of people don't understand that. So let me kind of give you kind of what I've seen. And again, I'm a scientist, so I just the devil's in the details. I focus on the, according to Chamath, God is in the details, right? But I like to focus on the details, right? Probably better than say that and devil, right? But again, it's all in the details here, okay? And what I think is going to happen is, IWM bought CLOV, right? And it's going to mature. They're going to probably double down on their CLOV position. And then what's going to end up happening is people like Tom Lee and a bunch of other people are going to kind of have a bunch of interns go through the 2000 basket of stocks. They're going to look at stocks that are growing versus not growing. And if we do that, let's say 50% are removed, then you got 1,000 stocks, right? And from 1,000, you're going to look at what's profitable and not profitable. And CLOV will be in that basket, right? And honestly, I don't know the answer to this question. Again, Again, I don't know this answer, but I'm going to see if ChatGPT does. I'm having the problem is it's not reliable. You need the actual data, but let's just see. Okay. So you know how the Russell 2000 IWM has about 2,000 stocks. I want you to tell me out of all the 2,000 stocks, how many of them are actually profitable and how many of them are growing more than 20% per year. So we could do like a simple analysis here and let's see if we can find anything. So unprofitable companies, roughly 43%. So 43% is out. Clover's in that 43%. But in 2-3 years from now, they're not, right? You see how like kind of where this is setting up. Another source states that 40. Okay, so there's that. How many are growing 20%? There's no data breaking down. Again, like I said, it's hard. We're designing this on our platform, right? Again, it's not. Listen, guys, it's not that there is no direct data. Is that the data is locked away because they don't want you Wall Street doesn't want you wealthy, right? And soon we're going to have our own chatbot that can basically communicate with all this information and be able to pull that data, do that analysis, and it's all going to be part of lifetime access, right? Right. In terms of right. So that's why lifetime access is going to be over 10 grand. This is pretty good information. It's data. That's all it is. We're a data platform. I remember a lot of people were saying they gave us so much shit in the past. They were like, "Oh, you guys are not data. You guys don't know. You guys are not data, my data." But now they're like, "Oh wow, he actually is a data company." But this is kind of an example. There's about 40% are unprofitable. And I want to say maybe 20% of the profitable ones are growing more than 20%. So you got to find those, and then you got to like think about it and say, okay, is there a future for these companies, right? And soon enough, Tom Lee is going to be looking at Clove, and he's going to be like, oh, wow, right? And again, it's just I've seen this play out a long time, and it's going to be very fun when we're right, and it comes true. And then you guys, a lot of the new people are not going to know that we said this, but you guys that are watching are going to be like, "Oh wow, hey, that's really cool." I went ahead and kind of spoke some truth here. It's a shame. I get really mad at this, but again, it's kind of like funny. It's kind of like Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump gets mad that the Federal Reserve doesn't cut interest rates, but he also gets mad that the job market's weakening. But the problem is you need a weakening job market for the Federal Reserve to cut. I'm kind of in the same boat. I want more institutional investors to increase, but I get mad because then retail investors are selling. So it's like what way do I want it? And then it's maybe it's just because they're selling at a when it's down 50%, and again, they are the CEOs of their own ship. Institutions are buying the stock, so the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is, regardless of what's out there. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this. I created this diagram and I wanted to just kind of educate you guys on this. So here's the refrigerator, and this is the first order derivative. The thing is, what billion-dollar companies came out of the refrigerator? Well, Coca-Cola is one of them. You could think of other beverages, Celsius or whatever, but let's think just Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has a market cap at around $250 billion. It's about 280 now. I had AI make this, hence why there's like a typing error here, but I think it did a pretty good job to teach the point. I just didn't have time to make all this, so I just kind of told AI to help me. because I really wanted to teach the concept, right? So the refrigerate, if you look at the refrigerating market, obviously Samsung, Whirlpool, I mean the GE, they all. I mean, I have a Whirlpool one. They all own their own fridges, right? But let's assume that all the fridges market cap is combined together. It's like a $60 billion business, the world's refrigerators. So how is it that the world's refrigerators is a $60 billion market cap, but this little thing is a $250 billion market cap? So what does that teach you? It teaches you that downstream innovation often outscales their enabling technology. So this downstream innovation of Coca-Cola out-earned and outscaled the enabling technology, because who the hell wants to drink a hot freaking Coke? I mean, let me ask you something. Would you want to drink a hot beer? You're going to be like, an American would say, no, that's like drinking hot piss, right? I mean, right? I'm American, right? If you don't say that, then you probably drink Bud Light. I mean, I don't know, right? So yeah. so here's the concept here for NVIDIA. Okay. NVIDIA is a first order derivative. AI enables solutions. For this example, I said counterpart assistant, Clover Health. So the question is what enabling technologies are going to exist because of the utilization of the enabling technology, like the refrigerator to Coca-Cola? And is it going to be the same thing that we've seen in history, where downstream technologies outpace and enable the enabling technology? Pretty interesting. Obviously, NVIDIA is its own technology, but I obviously there's going to be some value creation here. Okay. And Jensen said that this thing is going to be a $3 to $4 trillion. And again, for people that don't know, because again, I'm very quiet about kind of my old stock picks, but a lot of people that are in lifetime access, it's pretty much like the right people need to be there. I don't like to talk. I only talk about one to just kind of like really, because I really think it's just a very Contrarian way of looking at things. But I haven't really talked about this because it's just the people that need to know, and it's almost like a filter. I want, I want to filter the dumb and the smart, right? But just for purposes of just education, here's one of the educational. I'm gonna mute it. We were talking about NVIDIA. We were given an example of NVIDIA. Let me just show you the thing. We were projecting, this is from the old intrinsic value calculation. This is when Morningstar actually gave the data. They stopped giving the data, so we had to become a data platform. I have to write all this out. Now our software does it automatically. Pulls the data in, all that jazz. I try to make it easy, but let me show you something. I'm trying to fast forward it to like. So we were doing the intrinsic value, and we were saying we believe NVIDIA is going to be $564. Okay. You might ask yourself right now, and you might say, but it's 174. And this is why I like to have this as a filter, because I want people that are smart, people to say, wait a minute, wasn't the stock pre-adjusted split? So a smart person would look at this year and would say, wait a minute, this was in 2022. And in 2022, May 16, 2022, it was $177. That doesn't make sense because right now it's 174 and now it's 177. May, where's May? May was right here. So how is it that in May of 2022, because we were in 2022, remember? You see how this is 2022? It doesn't show you 2025 because I recorded this video back on 2022, May 16, 2022, when the stock price was 177. So wait, how is the stock price 177, but now it's still 174? Well, if you look at the smart, again, I like to bring smart people on the platform. If you look at this, the stock price used to be $17. So it's because the stock had a split. They split the stock, right? So this $17 in 2022 is actually $177, right? And now this $174 is actually $1,714. You see how the intrinsic value said it was $600, right? So, and obviously we got more data, the intrinsic value would have been higher, but I stopped it at that. So we went ahead and this was 2020, 2021, 2022, and it was 177, but it was $17 stock price. Another way to figure out that this is an older picture before the stock split is by looking at market cap. This market cap is $443 billion. NVIDIA now is 4.28 trillion. So you see how I put this video on purpose? Because someone's going to say, wait a minute, this guy's talking about $177. This is still $174. I don't want those people. I don't want idiots on our platform. That's a big filter, right? The platform is structured in a way where only smart people that actually have a brain, they enter. Because I don't want people that just want to be fed. I want people that are hungry, that are kind of going to say, wait a minute, this was $143 billion market cap, and this guy was saying it's going to go to $600. That's like more than $1 trillion. This guy predicted that NVIDIA will be $1 trillion business, and here it is now. See how that works? Yeah. See that? Beautiful, huh? So that's the power of the Al Stock Trades platform. Again, it's funny because we called this out earlier, and then this thing dropped to $11. But it used to be at $17, and then it went up, and it was another 10 bagger, right? Right. So again, I don't like to talk about these types of things, but just to kind of show you. Another one is MP stock. We talked about it before. You can see it's done again. It's the right people are going to be the ones that are going to be coming in our platform, not the ones that can't think for themselves. Because I don't want a bunch of yes sir, yes person. I want people that can think for themselves. And then if you have that ability, because you can't teach that. I mean, you can, but it's hard. If you have the ability to think for yourself, then my platform will train you really well. My platform will definitely show you the education, right? And the data. Big thing with CLOV and Humana. This is from the transcript. I don't think we haven't talked about the demo and how we did that yet. Have we? Vice President said we haven't. President said, no, we can stay away from that. Yeah. So yeah, sorry, I would, but blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. We talk about NVIDIA and whatnot here. And again, we were calling out NVIDIA, and it's kind of funny because we were calling out NVIDIA before anyone else was talking about NVIDIA. Isn't that funny? We were talking about Broadcom and NVIDIA before Tom Lee was even talking about it, right? Before all these other bigger Twitter channels started talking about it. And it's just, it's really funny because the same thing's going to happen once the analysis and the data is going to happen for CLOV. It's going to happen, and it's going to be very beautiful. And then you're going to see a bunch of these little people start talking about blah 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 blah, and then I'm going to be sitting down like I did for NVIDIA, Palantir, and a bunch of other stocks that I talked about, and I've invested. I'm going to sit back with my cigar. I'm going to be like, all right, little minions, go ahead and spread the word as I make money. And all the little feeble little ants that are running around trying to make it big. They're going to buy options, and I'm going to be selling them a dream of covered calls and cash secured puts, and I'm going to be taking their money, right? Because that's how Wall Street is, right? Wealth is transferred from the inpatient to the patient. So I will take your money, and don't worry, I'll spend it well. I'll spend it real well. I'm going to enjoy this nice view, and I'll think about you ever. I'm actually, I have a heart. I'll have a heart, so I'll actually think about you as I'm enjoying this view, thanking you for giving me your money, right? So that, again, I'm showing you how dirty Wall Street is, right? A lot of these people like to come in after the fact, right? They come in after the fact before, when it's too late, right? And then they buy options, and they're stupid. So it's okay. It's a zero-sum game. Let them buy the options. I'm going to sell you cover calls and cash secure puts. Why do you think I did it around $4.50? You remember, to all my lifetime access members, you remember we were making $40,000 to $80,000 a month. We were squeezing that crap. We were, right? Man, I had dinner, and Bill Ackman was sitting across at the Michelin restaurant, and it was just such a really cool experience. I was having freaking $2,000 bottle of wine. I mean, one time I had like 4,000 or 5,000, and that was insane. You know what? You know why it was insane? Because it tasted just like the freaking $80 bottle of wine. Maybe I need to develop my bougie genes. I couldn't taste the difference, right? I was like, this is such a freaking ripoff. But hey, at least I can say I tried it, right? So I went back to my $100 wine, right? You can get some good Napa Valley wine for about $80. But I'm just telling you the truth. For people out there that think I'm wrong, please convince me. Maybe I've drank in the wrong $2,000 bottle of wine. Maybe you can show me a better one. I don't know, right? But yeah. Anywho, the technology that we're bringing to retail investors out there and to just people that want to learn is insane. I had this lady that was coming to help me with bring me some coffee and whatnot. And she looked at my setup, and it felt like this lady was from the 80s, and she was looking at the iPhone. She was just like, so I felt like I rocked her brain, dude. She was just so, she didn't even know. She's like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. What, are you from the future? And my brain was just trying to figure out, where the hell she's been living. But I get it. This is weird. People don't bring this with them. And I have a small bag that this actually fits. And this collapses, this collapses too, and all this collapses, right? Oh yeah. Going back, and then we're going to go ahead and show you the data here, which is going to be very interesting. Okay. So I wrote a paper on PubMed, published and stuff, and I was the first author. There's my name, and I was talking about the cerebellar cognitive and affective roles and whatnot. And I'm going to see if I can find the paper here. This is the paper.
Assessment, a comprehensive review of cerebellum's cognitive and affective roles.
So here's the paper. It's cool that AI breaks it down. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't know it did that. But let me just kind of show you the full text. Oh, here's my picture. Look at that. That's so cool. So this is the paper I wrote. And you can see the diagrams, very, very elegant, just good research, right? So it's really funny because Harvard actually cited our paper. So the leaders at Mass General, Brigham, and Harvard Medical School, they ended up citing our work. And I find it hilarious because I've gotten to a point now where, I'm in Tucson, right? I'm doing my thing. And then, you got people from Harvard finding our work, citing it. And it's very clear what we're doing and what we're creating is something of value, even something that I spent only maybe a month or two on, right? Less. It's a rare disease, right? But, and I had one patient that I think had it, which is why I was paying tribute to the family doctor that I was working with. He really wanted me to look into it, so I did. And then, sure enough, the legendary guy here, Schmaman, ended up citing our work. The point is people, they, and by the way, this is Michelle. This is my significant other. People have a hard time thinking for themselves. And it's really funny because a lot of my colleagues, they have these papers they publish, and they don't get any citations because we've gotten to a point in academic medicine where we care more about quantity versus quality. And that's a big problem. Whenever you start focusing on quantity, and they give this bullshit excuse. In the beginning, quantity is good. Later on, it's quality. I think, honestly, that's a bunch of bullshit. You want to have quality. And the problem is by the system doing this, you get to a point where you create a generation of academics that really can't think for themselves. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, do we trust in these people? Well, if you look at society and just the overall population, the trust in physicians has decreased. And I feel like the next pandemic we're going to get, we are going to be fucked. Okay, we're going to be so effed. And it's going to be bad. I mean, I honestly don't know. So again, very tough. But the point is if there's one thing I can teach you guys, is how to think for yourself. Okay? Because in life, there are two different methods that you can do. You can copy something that works and replicate it. That's what academics does. Right? It's just a bullshit replication of what works because it's safe. Or you can do something different and create something new. Right? And if you're able to identify this as a business person, what this person is doing, and yes, you could create so many new things, but if you don't have the capability of determining what's a hero or a zero, you'll also lose thinking that this is going to be, vertical mobility. It's a skill and somewhat luck too you have to develop, right? Now, Humana Investor Day, they kind of outlined a path. 2025 is a reset year for them, right? Earnings per share is $16 and some change. They got headwinds in 2026. In 2027, they're going to still have conservative star assumptions. Solid operating progress, but still tough. 2028 is when they're going to have their inflection year. They're going to have top quartile stars. Earnings per share is going to be $38 to $42. Isn't that interesting? Earnings per share went from $16 to $38 to $42. Isn't it? That's like insane. That's like a double. to almost triple times 3, which is insane. So the question is, how are they able to do this? And does this look like Counterpart to you? Because doesn't Counterpart take 3 years? Right? Then they talked about their J curve, right? So again, I just want to pay some attention to I want to, have folks pay attention to this, because this is something to look forward to, right? So, okay, so there's that. Oh yeah, there's the little meme there. So now let's go ahead and turn our attention to institutional ownership graphs. I just made this. Been working on it for a long time. We just basically updated it. It looks a lot better now. So now a couple things that I want to share with you. So if you go ahead and type in the ticker, it goes ahead and shows you exactly what tickers are available out there, what exchanges they're on. Let's say you want to talk, here's Clove. You can scroll down, beautiful gold scroll bar. I'm going to remove the comment section so you guys can see. If you want to, let's say, make this a lot bigger, you could make it bigger. You can zoom in, look at, and the beautiful part now is you can look at the investor holdings, the stock prices in gold, and the simple moving average for the investor holdings is in red. But let's say you want to score it. Look at the graphics. Look how sexy this is. You see how beautiful this is? It's elegant, Apple-like, elegant to the point. Took me a lot of time. This is a work of art. Okay. I'm going to click on it again. Just look at that beautifulness, right? So if you look at the scoring system, we have a beautiful little metric here. 8 bullish and 1 bearish. There's just one little thing I got to fix, is just to update the scoring systems here. This is an easy fix. There's a couple things I want to add on to this. That's why I'm going to be releasing to this soon, but I just wanted to make the video since I've been dying to make a video. But you can see the scoring systems here, and you can see it's 8-1, meaning 8 is bullish, 1 is bearish. And you can see the overall score is bullish. And if you wanted, let's say, to see what's bearish, you can click on the button. There's a little big button here that you can't see, but you click on it, it'll highlight. You see how it beautiful Al Stock Trades branding. It'll highlight the closed position. So you could click on it. You could see how it highlighted it there, and you can kind of explode it, and you can see what's going on. So you could see that a lot of investors closed their positions in Q2, but that's weird because we still saw percent ownership go up. So it's interesting because we're seeing more ownership increasing, but people closed their positions. People that reduced their positions went down, meaning that the people that are in are not reduced. They're actually increasing their positions. They're adding more. So it's funny how you see a stock divergence. You see people increasing their positions while the stock price is going down. You see this divergence, right? You see how incredible you can. Again, I'm a scientist, so I can pick this data out clean, like eating a chicken off of the bone. I've been programmed to be able to look at this very quickly and look at the data. But I have an AI function for you that's going to blow your effing mind. But you can see here how the increased positions is going up, but the stock price is going down. It's funny because increased positions is a good prognostic indicator, and it follows the stock price. But now we're seeing a divergence. So what does that mean? I think this is a precursor of what's to come in the future. In fact, let's go ahead and hit the long range button. We'll go and do that. We can go and score it as well. And let's go down to increased positions. And you can see how it used to be, the stock price used to be kind of close to the increased positions, but yet we saw this huge divergence. And now we're seeing it rise. And soon enough, this will rise with it. Another thing to look at is also total invested. You can see that total invested, it used to ride with the stock price. And it slowly started to catch up, but now you're starting to see a divergence, right? I love divergences. I'm going to explain to you why. Again, it's hard to see this, but there's a little button here called Analyze, and it'll analyze the data for you. And this is where the $1 million data is. This is our AIs take all this information and analyzes it for you. And I'm gonna share it with you. But before I do that, let me just kind of show you SoFi. So here's SoFi, and let me show you what I mean. So here's total invested for SoFi, and you can see how the stock price in yellow, and then the total invested of institutional ownership. You see how it rides together? It literally rides together. It comes together, right? You see that? You see how it rides together, right? So now let's see if we can find something. Let's look. I don't know. Let's look at Tesla. You see how total invested? You see how it rides together, right? So now let's go back to Clove. You see how amazing this data is, and again, people that have lifetime access, you guys are gonna get access to this, right? Are you starting to see how this platform is going to be over $10,000? Are you starting to realize that we're actually a software company? Okay, right? I've gained a lot of gray hairs in this guy, so you can see total invested. It goes down with it, but then what's happening now? The stock price is coming up with the total invested, but then what's happening now? Total invested is increasing. Stock price is going down. That doesn't make sense. This is called a divergence, right? And sadly, retail investors are selling. That's what that tells you. Stock price is going down, but yet institutions are making more money off of it. Retail investors are selling. But again, that's hard for people to figure that out. And again, if you can, then you're gifted. I mean, you didn't have to go through college like I did. You're smarter than me. I had to go to college to understand this information. If you're able to understand it by just looking at this, then kudos to you, man. I mean, that's, I'd love for you to join the platform so you can bring your talents towards us. But for folks that can't see it, it's okay. I used to be like that. It's okay. That's why there's education. That's why we're an educational platform wrapped with over 2.5 billion outputs of institutionally graded data. It's okay. It's okay, right? There's a button. Before we hit 25 years, there's a button called Analyze. So it goes in and we analyze all this data, and we find something here called concordant surge. And we find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 concordant surges. And to give you an example, it tells you the institutional ownership of total invested. I'm going to make some changes to this. But it shows you total invested, and it shows you that it increased 400%. And then the stock price increased by 352%. And it was around the same quarter. If it's a positive quarter or second, 2 positive quarters, it shows you that this is a leading indicator. It shows you that total invested went up first. And since it goes up first, then the stock price went up second. And it led by a quarter or 2. And you can kind of set the arrangements here to rerun the analysis. So you can see how you have access now to leading indicators. And this is what, Jim Simmons has created. Now, again, it's unfortunate the way this works, because if Jim was here right now, Jim would say, "What the hell are you doing, you asshole? Why are you showing these people the information?" But frankly, I don't give a shit. Jim Simmons, I don't screw you. I want other people to learn this information. I don't care about, if I'm happy if I have a beach view. I don't want to be a billionaire, right? I just want to relax and have other people enjoy with me. Beautiful part is we have a small channel, right? So I don't think when Clover goes up, yes, this is going to go crazy. It is what it is. But, small channel, I want to help a lot of people. Again, you have to understand my first career is becoming a doctor. And the goal of a doctor is to heal. And I realized that sometimes you need money to actually eat healthy. And that's what I'm just trying to do right now. So I'm trying to help people. And regardless, this looks at institutional ownership, and people can't, people can, what you call it, how do I say this? People can't fudge this data, right? Because institutions have to buy the stock unless they pass a law that says that SEC 13F filings can't be filed anymore, which is not going to happen. That's going to get so much pushback. There's no way in hell. In fact, institutions love this because they can hit other hedge funds. They use it. I mean, these hedge funds are crazy. The problem is if you have a hard time reading this, that's fine. You can read this. If you have a hard time reading this, it shows you like lagging indicators or whatever. There's something called the generate insights button. I'm going to press this button. Okay. Watch how fast this is, right? Look how sexy this is. Instant generate insight. It's just instant, just data flowing right into your mind. I'm going to go ahead and press it again. Look how beautiful that is. Just instant data, right? This is the power of the Al Stock Trades platform. We democratize financial literacy and data to people all over the world, right? Now, let's look at investor holdings. We can see here what it means. How many institutions reported owning the stock? More holders can indicate broader sponsorship. What we saw for CLOV, correlation is very strong. It's 8-2, moves with price. It tends to move about 1 quarter before it changes in the metric. Threshold hits 2 to total. And then here's plain English translation. So this is like, for like people are like, okay, what the hell does this mean? And this kind of spells it out. So so this is kind of like I'm not going to read all this. I'm just going to read one because it's going to take you a long time. When investor holdings jumped year over year above your threshold, the stock often rallied within the next 2 quarters. Typically, 0 quarter medium changed 239%. Biggest example was Q1 2025, price 352%, right? So it gives you all this analysis. And the cool part is I'm going to run the analysis now for 2 different things. I'm going to hit 25 years, and this is going to pull the older data when the stock price used to be above $16, remember? I'm going to hit the analyze, and I'm going to run the analysis. So it's going to run the analysis using that data. And then once it runs the analysis, I'm going to scroll down, and it's going to give you a forward price projection based off of what it thinks it's going to be a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. Now you can see in 10 years from now, it says $5. But watch this. If I close it and if I run the analysis without the 25 year and just run the analysis since 2022, because right now, the first analysis at $5, we are running it since 2020. The second analysis right now, we're going to go ahead and run since 2022. If we run this analysis and generate this data and run this analysis, and if we scroll down, we can see now in 10 years it shows $6.65. You might ask yourself, you might say, well, hey, why so low? What's going on here? But a smart person would say, wait a minute. The long range model was $5. The shorter range model was $10. So what is that? Sorry, the long range model was $5. The short range model was $6.65. So what does that mean? So let's go ahead and kind of break it up. So long range, it showed the big dogs selling. So it incorporated that data, which gave $5. The short range shows selling, but also more buying. You still have more selling down here, But just recently, you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quarters of selling, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarters of buying, right? So it's still offset more towards the selling side. But the point is as we get more data, the price projection is going to be more representative of what could be reality. But just again, we put here, these are probabilistic, not guarantees. Structure breaks can cause deviations. So let's give an example of kind of SoFi. I think SoFi is a good one. So we'll put SoFi here, and we could just do the short range analysis. You could see it's going up. So we can analyze. We could generate insights real quick. And you can see the projection. 1 year is $21. 3 years is $31. 5 years is $37. 10 years is $50. There's a lot of SoFi bulls out there that would love to get their hands on this data. And it's funny because you guys are the only ones seeing it right now. Isn't that cool how that works? We could go ahead and look at Tesla. We put in Tesla. We can do this here, but we could go ahead and analyze. We can run the analysis. Again, there's a couple more updates I wanted to do, and this will be released to lifetime access members. So you can see the 1 year, $338, 3 years, $383, 5 years, $433, 10 years, $584. Now you could do the 25-year analysis, so you could see kind of the overall growth of it. Then you could go ahead and analyze, and you can kind of see Elon's. So you could see 369, 500, 596, and then 799. Again, that's the kind of the whole thing. And you could look at all the stuff in regards to Tesla. Now again, scanning 62 quarters. I'm just curious to see. We take 62 quarters divided by 4 quarters. That's about 15 years. So it just scanned 15 years of data, of institutional ownership data, ran it through its statistical mainframe analysis. And it shows you kind of what happened. You can see this is when it became a triple dragon. Isn't that beautiful? Became a triple dragon. You can see what happened, right? So now what you're going to do is you're going to start seeing how we're going to analyze the institutional ownership data. Then we analyze the fundamental analysis data, which we have here. This will be soon updated as well for Tesla, right? This will be updated soon to reflect the beautiful new user interface with a bunch of new functionalities. But you can see when things become triple dragons, how it relates to institutional investor holdings. And you're going to be able to basically map all this out. You can see the connection and how there was a divergence. At the beginning, if we go down here, there was a divergence. Here, you can see there was a divergence between and total invested and stock price. But later on, they started to move together, right? They started to move together, okay? And sometimes the stock price moves above the total invested. You can see how beautiful this graph is, how it's you can, it's almost like overvalued versus undervalued. It's really interesting how this is working, right? Again, there's a lot of cool ways to look at this information. It's very interesting to look at this stuff, and it really gives you. Let's look at AMC. I think AMC is pretty interesting. We could look at AMC. It's funny because it's squeezed. Hedge funds had to buy the stock, and the stock price collapsed, and then this collapsed as well. And now you're starting to see divergence coming in, and then who knows? AMC could be over $15 in the future. I don't know, right? All speculation, but it'd be interesting to see kind of how this works and kind of where we're at. Honestly, let's just kind of see the data here. So it's thinking it's going to go down, but again, but it's taking all the data from the past, right? So you see how like it shows you with this, it shows you how there's a downtrend, which is pretty cool. Again, the whole point is you're starting to see that we are grabbing the most highest quality data and integrating it to the most sophisticated statistical analysis you will find on this planet. Right? There's no one better. Remember, I went to Mayo Clinic and I did a research in brain computer interface. Right? We planted chips in people's brains and connected them to human beings. Right? I was part of that research. I'm telling you, I'm a scientist at heart, and this is nothing to me. This is just Wall Street like to hide behind their data. Well, now they have someone who has access to their data, and now I get to do some really cool science, but break it down in a way that can help people. Okay. You can see, we'll talk about all this later, but yeah, so you can see there's a lot of cool stuff here. All right. So on the next video, we'll explain more about this, but I just wanted to kind of give you a dive, but also talk about all these other things that we wanted to talk about, right? A lot of people, retail investors, are selling. Let the lion eat the gazelle, enjoy it, because we need institutions coming in. So let them do it. I'm sitting down enjoying, and I'm honestly working on patient care and, working on that because that's my passion. Well, yeah. So for folks out there that want access to our platform, take advantage of the SAS coupon code. It will be expiring soon. Linda messaged me. I forgot the date, but I think it'll start showing it on there. So take advantage. Everything that you saw here will be available to you. You can access it from anywhere in the world, and there's going to be so much more included. This is one of the best platforms out there, and I'm very excited to share it with you all. God bless you all, and I'll see you on the next one.